What's up, Internet? It's a chicken sandwich coming at you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Fun for all ages.
Hey, guys. Hey, peeps. It's Peeps.
I'm joined here once again with my good friend, It's Peeps. My incredibly handsome friend.
Well-bearded, too.
Well-bearded, indeed. No, I'm Peeps. I'm Peeps. I'm not letting... You can't steal my brand.
Still my brand. You're on my channel.
Yeah, but I have special eyes, so...
Anyways. Hey, guys. We're going to be playing some Smash Free today on this episode of... I'd have to say it's a kind of a special episode of the Kick Awesome podcast, because we're going to be talking about a very special topic. Probably the best movie so far this year. Maybe the entire year. We'll have to see how everything lands.
Right, we got a ways to go.
Possibly Batman vs. Superman may top it.
Maybe.
But we're going to be talking about Deadpool today. And the Deadpool movie specifically.
And we're going to be playing some Smash Burger while we play.
Smash Burger. That place associated with GameStop.
I like that. I like their black bean burger.
Yeah.
It's good. A little avocado on it. I'm not crazy about avocado, but it works.
Jay Leno.
Yeah. But yeah, Deadpool. We went and saw the movie.
Separately.
But I had a ton of fun. I'm going to be the villager. There's my purple guy.
See, I gotta get a good teammate for you. I'm gonna make people hate me. Not because Corrin's good, just because everybody hates Corrin.
Yeah, that's a good reason.
Just remember, whenever I load up my shocker ball, you run up and hit him with the
bowling ball.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, Deadpool has experienced a lot of sudden popularity lately. And we were just going to kind of talk about where this came from. Man, our connection's kind of bad.
Yeah, well.
But oh jeez. Where this popularity came from. Steven, where did you learn about Deadpool?
I actually had a friend at work a while back. Like, it actually came about the same time the Secret Invasion was going on, and like that was a new thing. And I got to see, the first time I read a Deadpool comic was the Secret Invasion.
The hardcover that I got?
No, it was actually my I think I read it all the way through for the first time whenever you gave me a copy of it. Well, lend me your copy. Lend me your ears.
Yeah, get out of here, Ike. But yeah, that's so. Oh, jeez, this is bad.
It's very bad. This podcast is going to be hard to get through just because we are playing the game together, and like unlike last week, whenever I wasn't playing,
you were anchoring.
I was anchoring pretty good. May have to switch it up and go back to anchoring because we're going to be focused on what's going on here. Yeah, the rise of popularity is mostly because, okay, there's a lot of people who have seen. Obviously, the marketing campaign for the Deadpool movie was brilliant.
It was, especially the Valentine's Day marketing and
the cancer screening yourself for cancer.
Yes, that was excellent as well. But yeah, he's a really popular character. I first became aware of him whenever I first played Marvel Ultimate Alliance on Wii back in the day, actually. I didn't play the Xbox version until much later. But, yeah, I was like, man, who's this Spider-Man looking guy with, he's got lots of guns, and he's got lots of quips, he's a funny guy. And that was my first introduction to him, and I ended up looking up his stuff and buying his comics, and oh well. I'm thinking maybe we need to fight bots if we're gonna, since the connection's so bad.
Yeah, let's go and do that.
Okay. In that way, we're not too worried about losing.
Or we could just face each other.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where I learned of the character, and it's cool that he's getting Because it started with stuff like that, which is where he... Because if you didn't read Marvel Comics, you wouldn't really know of him.
Well, okay. So, he's basically become, like...
He's the internet's mascot.
He's been called the internet's mascot. And he's also probably considered... Probably the most popular Marvel character at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, singular character. I mean, used to that title used to be... belonged to Spider-Man.
Well, yeah.
Or Wolverine. It's been tossed up between both those over the last few years, and Wolverine was like my first favorite, maybe, or Spider-Man. But Deadpool has become one of my favorites. I actually out of every comic that I have, Deadpool is my. I have more comics of him than anybody else.
Man, as much as I love all of them, I think the one that I own the most of is probably either the Flash or Aquaman. But anyway, so it started with stuff like that, either word of mouth or like for me the video game, and then he started making appearances in like Ultimate Spider-Man.
I remember he was in Hulk versus Wolverine.
That's true. Representing Canada.
Both Wolverine and him are Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
They're both Canucks.
But yeah, the Merc with the Mouth. He's received. I keep reiterating, but it's hard to believe how much. I mean, that's like I wouldn't have ever expected him to get as popular as he has. I mean, that would be like priority. That would be like me beating, or Ambush Bug, which is one of my favorite DC heroes, and people call him DC's Deadpool because he teleports, he has a super suit, and he breaks the fourth wall.
Actually, I would almost say Batmite is probably closer to DC's Deadpool, really, because he is the fourth wall.
But yeah, I completely forgot he was in Hulk versus.
Well, I mean, yeah, we could talk about the popularity of the character and all, and I know we have like them guys that we don't like, that it's like
the
bandwagoners and everything like that, and everybody's like, oh, we like Deadpool. I'm like, well, we like Deadpool a lot longer than you guys. But I'm not going to fan shame anyone. I'm glad people are getting into him, because if he becomes popular, we're going to get more movies.
Mm-hmm. Maybe like his own Adult Swim action show or something.
No, like more movies.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying like any kind of medium with him would be nice.
Well,
I'm thinking something like.
I don't think Disney would put anything on Adult Swim.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forget. It would be cool to have him in Disney Infinity, though. Like a really toned-down version.
Oh.
Because, like, a lot of people don't like it whenever Deadpool can't be Deadpool, but he's still fun. Like, even his appearances in Ultimate Spider-Man, he was like...
he kind of stole the show on that episode, didn't he?
Well, that episode was called Ultimate Deadpool. Like, he straight up did steal that episode. But even, he kept telling... Spidey was like, oh, he's like, you're just a hero for hire, right? And Deadpool's like, yeah, sure. And then he's like, actually, no, I kill people for money. And Spidey's like, you can't say that on TV. But anyway, speaking of Spidey, actually, we're still on Infinite Time. I just
realized. Oh, we'll have fun with it.
Yeah. Speaking of Spidey, there's a lot of jokes about Deadpool looking like Spidey,
even in universe too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, dude, why'd you steal my costume?
That or there's been entire issues of the comic where it's all, or actually, I think that was a Thunderbolts issue, but like there was one issue of Thunderbolts where he, the entire time, everyone in the entire book kept mistaking him for. Or Spider-Man, and But yeah, it's kind of weird that nobody, like, I would have loved if the cab driver at the beginning would have been like, oh, Mr. Spider-Man, I'm a big fan of your role.
Spoilers.
I don't think so. That happens in, like, the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, but there are people still haven't seen the movie. So we don't know, like, at the what happens at the beginning of the movie. Like, if, like...
Okay, well, at some point in the movie, there is a cab. Please don't hate me for telling you that, Internet. But yeah, and then more importantly is they let it be a mature movie. Like, I mean, it's highly immature actually. But
it's a hard R movie. Mm-hmm. Like if I didn't know any better, I would swear it was very close to NC-17.
There was a lot of graphic violence, explicit sexual content, foul language.
Happy International Women's Day.
What?
Happy International.
Oh yeah. But they let it be a movie about Deadpool, and as simple as that seems, movie producers are very keen on selling these characters to kids. That's why, even though I don't know how kid-friendly Dawn of Justice will be, I guarantee you there's going to be a big toy line.
Oh, yeah. DC...
I mean, you've already seen them.
I think DC is more into the toys than Marvel is.
But they let the studio take a chance with this whole thing, and I want to play a real match. Okay. They let the studio, let Deadpool be Deadpool.
Yeah,
and
like, okay. I think one of the things about him being Deadpool is that I think that.
Oh, darn it! Here, you set it up.
I think him being Deadpool is a good way to put it off. Is that in truth, the movie wasn't that story driven.
It wasn't.
It was almost 100% character driven, and usually movies like that are terrible. But it's because of the characters that they put in there. Like, okay, Colossus, best version of Colossus by far in any medium ever. Like he was so true to Colossus in the comics, and that's why I loved. Okay, I'm gonna stop you right here, and I'm gonna mark him down to 7.
Okay.
Colossus. I loved Colossus in this movie.
He kind of stole the show for me.
Okay, he didn't steal the show for me, but he was definitely.
He's one of my favorite X-Men, and you know that.
I know that, but when Deadpool wasn't on screen and Colossus was, he was the star of the show to me, because he was so good at what he did, and he was definitely that foil to Deadpool's insanity.
Since we didn't have Cable to be the grumpy, he was Deadpool's foil as a stoic person who's trying to do good, whereas Cable is more of he's trying to do good, but he's also super grumpy all the time. But Colossus was definitely. And then, man, I can't even remember her name. It's like Negasonic Hyperteen.
No, Negasonic Teenager, Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
That's it.
And I thought that was the character they made up for the movie, and no, it's by far she is like a D-lister X-Men.
Yeah, but she was super cool in the movie.
Oh yeah, they actually changed her powers for the movie too.
Yeah.
She actually had she's actually a telepath in the comics, but
really?
But they gave her powers to suit her name.
She made me think of Splosion Man, if I'm telling the truth.
Yeah,
she had Miss Splosion Man's powers. But it was a ton of fun, and it's a great movie. I can't wait to see it again. And I'm going to go ahead, and I think we've covered everything we want to for this section.
Let's actually talk more about the story-driven. Okay,
without
there's actually a weak point in the characters, and
it's the bad guy.
It's the one bad guy, and it's not for sake of trying. I actually like the actor; he's really good.
Yeah, but I did not care about the character at all.
I don't think we were supposed to though, because in all truth, okay, Deadpool breaks the fourth wall in the movie a lot, right?
Right.
I believe we were actually seeing the entire movie from his perspective.
Yeah.
Because he's seen what we saw. So he made the villain boring.
Because he didn't give a crap about him. Other than, revenge purposes or whatever.
Like
nondescript revenge. Because we're not discussing that yet.
We will be going into spoilers. And we will let you know when to go into spoilers if you haven't seen the movie.
And you should probably put a tag on your description too.
Well, if they're listening to this all the way through, we'll give them the spoiler warning. And if they go past this, and if they skip past the spoiler warning,
it'd be their own peril.
It'd be their own peril.
So, spoiler warning.
Major spoiler warning. If you have not seen the Deadpool movie and you do not want it ruined, click away from this video. Go watch the movie.
And then come back.
Then come back and give us a second view on the video.
Indeed. We can use the views. Or you can subscribe to our Patreon.
Well, I do have a Patreon, but...
Get that out of here.
Right.
But yeah, spoilers. So...
Han dies at the end.
That's Steve, that's still, that's a worse spoiler. That's something people actually care about that's spoiling. You're gonna have to go through and bleep that now.
I don't know how to do that. Anyways, well, okay. If they haven't seen Star Wars yet, it's been 2 months.
But yeah, so, spoiler, I guess the first thing we'll talk about is the fact that he, much like his actual character, did not grant mercy to the bad guy despite Colossus's urging. 4 or 5 moments.
4 or 5 moments, Deadpool. It's all it takes to be a hero. You don't have to wake up and be a hero.
You don't have to wake up and get good, noob.
Ah! Ah! What? What? I hit you.
Oh, it's so tasty.
So, okay. So, the plot of the movie, the entire movie, is Deadpool is wanting Ajax, the villain of the movie,
Francis,
whose real name is Francis, to fix his face for whatever he did.
What's my name, Deadpool?
What's my name? That's right. That's what I thought.
I'll spell it out for you.
I'll fucking spell it out for you. This movie is by far, like, don't take your children to see this because you...
Yeah, I've seen Facebook posts that are like, oh, I guess I shouldn't have taken my kid to... It's rated R, bro.
I wish there was some kind of warning. Yeah. It's rated R. There's nudity. There's...
I think I'm going to be... Pingus. But yeah, it's extremely violent, it's extremely explicit, but we've talked about all that.
Okay, so a story of it is Deadpool gets cancer. That's anything you learn from the thing. They did change his origin story. He did not get his powers through Weapon X program.
They do talk about Wolverine, though.
Okay, so how do you think I got this movie?
Whose balls do you think I had to fondle to get this movie? I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with Wolverine.
Wolverine. And he's got a nice set of smooth criminals downstairs.
Tucked up down under.
Tucked up down under. Which actually is a reference to Hugh Jackman being Australian. Mm-hmm. The references in the movie were really good. Stan Lee's cameo was awesome.
Yeah, he was the DJ at the strip club.
Yeah.
I also like that they did give Rob Liefeld some.
I actually looked for him and I didn't notice him.
Well, no, he wasn't in there. It was
yes, he
the,
was.
Oh,
He was actually in the movie.
okay. I was just talking about the coffee cup in the beginning.
Oh yeah, Rob L.
Which I am definitely not a Rob Liefeld fan. Art and story wise, but
he created Deadpool.
Well, no, I'm just saying he's a super nice guy, and it's like I want to like him, but man, it's hard. But anyway,
Rob Liefeld was actually in the film at the very beginning. Whenever he first goes to the bar, you actually see him in the background, and he says Rob fucking Liefeld or something like that, or fuck Rob Liefeld.
Yeah. Okay, I do remember that. But yeah, we can sit here and talk about how mature of a movie it is all day, but the point is it's a ton of fun, and it's unafraid to be fun. And what I'm afraid of is that people, number one, I'm afraid that producers won't get it. And I think that people will think, because after Guardians of the Galaxy, there were tons of movies that were funny and fun, or tried to be, with, like a retro pop soundtrack. And I'm afraid they're going to do the same thing with Deadpool, and they're like, oh, we just need a raunchy character and a violent movie. And it's like, no, it's not. It's because of Deadpool the character.
Oh, and one of the things was Deadpool was so true to his character. And a lot of people will talk about how he didn't have his inner monologue as multiple voices. But a lot of people don't, those new fans, including me, I didn't start reading Deadpool until after this, but I read back in like his origin story and stuff like that a long time ago. He didn't get those inner characters until his comic was 17 years old. And that's after he like starred in his own comic. That was
whenever he was doing Cable and Deadpool.
Well, he premiered in New Mutants,
right?
As a villain, and a Cable villain actually, and he was a villain of the X-Force.
We hate you so bad.
Who hates who?
I hate Cable. I actually even like Bishop more. Now, I like Cable only exclusively in the context of him hanging out with Deadpool.
Well,
because they're excellent. They're excellent foils. And that's the thing is, I feel like Colossus was in this movie because Cable wasn't, and they need a good. You need a good foil for all of Wade's silliness.
Well, and the end credits kicker.
Yeah, the super spoilers, we will call them.
Yeah, the end credits thing is a gigantic homage to Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
What, were you expecting Sam Jackson to come in here with an eye patch and a sexy little leather number?
And so it's like, and then it cuts away and goes back to the credits for like 5 seconds, and it comes back. It's like, oh, there's going to be a Deadpool 2.
I'm not supposed to tell you this.
I'm not supposed to tell you this, but there's going to be a Deadpool 2. And we're looking at and Cable's going to be in it.
Yeah.
We don't know who's going to be in it yet. Possibly who was it?
I can't remember.
I just remember him talking about Keira Knightley. And somebody actually mocked up what Keira Knightley would look like as Cable, and it's pretty brilliant. I'm not much for gender bending but I might actually go for that. Bye. Snoopingus as usual.
Snooping as usual. Ah, there I go.
Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of, that sums up our thoughts.
I mean,
do you have a favorite line, Steven?
I definitely do. I mean, technically, we really need to go on a little bit longer than this because I really like my podcast to be about an hour long, and we're only about like less than 50% there.
Right.
We could talk about what we hope to see out of the next Deadpool movie. Favorite line? You know, I've never said this to anyone before. Don't swallow.
I also love the line about his big rubber masturbating shoes.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, thumps him up on the counter.
I'm starting to feel something downstairs.
Yeah, I love his roommate is
A blind owl.
an old blind lady,
It's Blind Owl.
and she's hilarious.
There were
I love the Olimar.
That's all right. I'm playing as Rosalina. I don't like Rosalina, but apparently Rosalina's in the top 3 characters in the game.
Yeah, she's one of those characters that once you know how to play her, you can be really good. Especially because she has so much coverage with the Luma. Yeah, I'm awful with Olimar. But yeah, there was a ton of, and it was fun because he was Deadpool. You know, give no craps.
Okay.
Deadpool, like he showed up for his big climactic moment at the end. He had a Hello Kitty backpack.
Well, also, did you like his watch?
Yeah, I did. His
Adventure Time watch?
Yeah.
Actually, that in itself was kind of referential because he's going off for an adventure when he checked the time.
Mm-hmm. Also, I do wanna make a mention of. Did you notice the Deadpool rap during the credits?
Actually, that wasn't during the credits. There was actually a montage of it. And there was a
Well, it was during the credits too. Is what I mean. It had. I looked up on Spotify. I looked up the soundtrack, and that's by a group called, what were they called? Team Headkick.
Yes.
They did the music for. They did a similar rap for Deadpool the video game, and they actually have done a lot of they're a YouTube channel, and they do a lot of video game raps, and I think that's super cool that they got to do, the official soundtrack for a major motion picture.
Oh yeah, I mean
that would be like Dwayne and Brando getting to be on the soundtrack for, Zelda 2 the movie, because that's one of my favorite songs by theirs.
Well, but we all know that one, Zelda's not coming through, and most of our audience probably doesn't know who Dwayne and Brando is. Brando.
But they should. Dwayne and Brando is an awesome video game comedy rap duo, and yeah, they're awesome, and you should look them up. If you are unsure, just watch Ninja Gaiden. It's only a minute long. Another one of my favorites that they ever did was Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
But regardless, Deadpool was a ton of fun. I would like to talk about my hopes for the future is honestly, I would love to see a Deadpool game or movie more in the line of the game, because they had tons of, you hung out with Wolverine and Rogue and Psylocke, and you had to fight. He fought Mr. Sinister.
You actually punched him in the balls.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what's not to love. I hate Mr. Sinister. He has a stupid name.
And he's actually one of the strongest of the Marvel villains, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
And
he wastes it with that stupid name.
I used to get him in, who's the vampire from the Spider-Man universe?
Are you talking about Tombstone, or are you talking about
No,
Morbius?
Tombstone is not a vampire.
I know. I just always get him and Morbius.
Michael Morbius. Morbius, I used to get them two confused whenever I was little.
Yeah. They're like, they both have blue skin.
They're both vampire-like. Oh, I killed myself because I thought I was Zelda.
You know what you should probably do, though, don't you?
What?
Think about maybe, getting good.
I was in the lead for a while.
But yeah, and it would be super cool if they had.
I mean,
The Deadpool. Another thing that would be cool for the Deadpool sequel is if they went to freaking Genosha or the Savage Land, and they had he hung out with like Devil Dinosaur and stuff. That would be super cool.
actually, one of the things I'd kind of hope for is obviously more X-Men in the sequel.
Right, because he's kind of tied to the X-Men, even though Marvel is trying to forget they exist, and Fox is trying to make people care about them, which they've done with great success after Wolverine Origins. Because every movie since then has been pretty great. I even liked the Wolverine.
I haven't seen anything since Wolverine Origins, honestly.
You haven't seen Days of Future Past?
Nope.
Oh, I got it on Blu-ray, bro. We should watch it. It's totally worth a watch. It's one of my favorites. But I'm also a Beast fanboy, he plays a major role.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know you got your favorites. You like Colossus and Beast.
Colossus, Beast, and Nightcrawler are my 3 faves.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm kind of excited for Gambit.
Yeah?
Gambit was one of my first favorite ones. Favorite X-Men. I used to watch the X-Men cartoon in the 90s, and I love Gambit because I thought he was so cool.
Oh, he was. And the thing that makes me mad about Gambit is you can't really have him look right without his stupid 90s face hole in his costume. And if people don't know what I'm talking about by that, he has one of those costumes that goes up. It's like, oh.
Oh, I was the first one.
Roy's our boy. He has one of those costumes where it's a full bodysuit under his regular clothes, and he has, instead of just having the headpiece go all the way over like Spidey or Deadpool does, they have a hole for his face and a hole for his hair to come out at the top. Rob freaking Liefeld loves those things.
I don't think Rob Liefeld had anything to do with that.
No, he didn't. I'm just saying a lot of Rob Liefeld's designs have those.
Oh.
I've read some of his other stuff.
And his infamously bad drawn Captain America with a gigantic chest that could not possibly exist.
Also, I just want to say there's not a human alive who could play Cable and look true to the comics.
Okay, so the guy who wants to play Cable is the guy who played the villain from Avatar. I don't know his name.
Did it? Yeah, okay.
That's the guy.
I keep wanting to say Artie Lang, but that's not right.
No.
I don't know who Artie Lang is.
You want me to Google Artie Lang for you?
Yeah, let's see.
Because you're going to be disappointed.
Artie Lang. Let's see.
He was on Mad TV.
He looks like Hurley.
He was on Mad TV.
Oh, and he's on Howard Stern. Okay.
Yeah. He was one of Howard Stern's
lackey guys.
Yeah, for a while. I used to watch Howard Stern all the time.
I'm not a fan.
Let's see. IMDb
Artie Lang.
Why does that come up?
You can't tell it by our deafening silence, but
I'm definitely searching this up.
We're looking up Artie Lang.
Stephen Lang.
Okay, so there was a reason.
This guy wants to play Cable.
Yeah, and I can see it. He's kind of like a gaunt Cable.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually look at
I didn't know he was.
Okay? So he's okay. We're on IMDb right now. He's credited for Avatar 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, what?
What?
And they're wanting that to come out in 2016 and 19? Yeah. They're awful, I'd rather see Titanic 2, I think.
There is a Titanic 2. I'm going to show you. This is going to end up being a podcast where I just Google stuff. Titanic. Shane Van Dyke. Titanic 2.
Titanic-er?
Or Titanic Ill? Titanic Lee? because sometimes you can't distinguish between an I and an L. I and a capital L.
Mm-hmm. And a 1.
And a 1.
Titanic
Let's see.
2. Titanic.
Hold on. Shane Van Dyke directed, wrote it, and stars in it.
Woo! That's a hallmark of quality.
Who is this guy? Is there a picture at all?
Oh, he was in Transmorphers and Paranormal Entity. That's the guy from oh man. Yeah, Super Shark. Diagnosis Murder. That's
Wait.
weird.
Hold on.
He's the guy who does all the mockbusters.
I've never seen
I just realized they've just been staring at Sonic.
Okay.
Staring stoically
Anyways.
at Kirby.
And where's this go?
You're Jigglypuff.
I am the puff that is tough.
Kirby, that's a name you should know. Kirby,
My pound
that's
stopped
a star
you.
in the know. I said, what do you think? He's got maximum pink.
Kirby's the one.
He goes right back at ya. He goes right back at ya.
Okay, we need to stop that immediately because I don't want to be like copyright struck for that song being on this.
It won't flag us for singing the song.
Are you sure?
Fairly.
Sometimes YouTube is kind of stupid that way.
That's true.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a tangent. Take that on a tangent. I did get flagged for a song in a video that wasn't even in it.
Oh,
Like it wasn't like a copyright strike, but it was like a notice that just, hey, remove this song and we can monetize your videos again. I'm like, okay.
You're like, aight, brah.
I did. Why do I keep doing the rest?
I don't know. You should probably consider getting good. Woo! Ah! So close. Yet, so far. So, Steven,
Yes.
are there any other movies you're looking forward to?
Wait, did we even finish the conversation of what we wanted to see out of the next Deadpool movie?
I told you I wanted him to go to Genosha or the Savage Land.
Well, I didn't finish my thought then.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously I do hope Cable is in there because he is kind of really tied to the character a lot since since Deadpool was a Cable villain at first.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who I'd like to see as a villain because because it was if Deadpool 2 follows suit of the first Deadpool movie, it's a character-driven film, and you just really don't
it doesn't
care.
Yeah.
Like, okay. In the words of Deadpool, you don't fucking care.
Okay, I do have an idea of who I want the bad guys to be. In the last... Okay, you're going to have to help me out here, because even though I love this guy, I can never remember his name. He's a comedian, and he's on the Sarah Silverman show.
I've never watched it.
Well,
Because
it's funny.
I am definitely not a fan of Sarah Silverman.
I'm not really either, but man, this show's funny. But anyways, he's one of the alternative comedians. He hangs out with like Patton Oswalt and stuff. But he was in charge of the last run of... Sandon's a big fan. He was in charge of the last run of Deadpool. He was a writer. And he...
Does Jigglypuff's spin have priority over Sonic's?
I don't know. But anyways, he was the writer for the run, and this whole run involved a rogue necromancer resurrecting various presidents of the United States, and Deadpool having to either team up with them or fight with them because they were zombified and evil. I think that would be a fun enough...
Actually, speaking of zombies, that could be a thing.
Marvel Zombies?
Well, a zombie movie with Deadpool in it.
Yeah.
Because
Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
Yep. No, but Deadpool. That movie was so good though. Like it warrants like a second trip to the theater to me, and there's very few movies I've ever said that about. And lo and behold, the last movie wasn't that great, but I was trying to get some from a chick once. So,
I thought the last movie you would have seen in theaters would be...
No, twice.
That's what I meant. Was Star Wars.
No, I didn't go see it twice, but the last movie I did see twice in the movies was Transformers. The first Transformers movie. Well...
I thought you were going to say Step It Up. Because I remember you... I remember something about that movie. I don't know.
No, I didn't... I've never seen Step It Up.
Yeah. Well, then I don't know what I'm thinking of. I'm not thinking right now. I'm trying to 4, 3, 2, 1 smash.
But no, it was a really good movie. The whole thing, the really what to take away from this movie is that like one, it broke a formula. Okay, well, okay. Actually, to put it into kind of James Gunn's words, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, was that Deadpool it had a feeling of like Guardians of the Galaxy, like in a way that it was a very character-driven story. It had a lot less plot than Guardians of the Galaxy, because the entire thing is he wanted his face fixed so his love would love him. And that's the entire premise of the movie. Because after the whole thing, the mutation he had made him, like, scarred his body all over and everything like that because of the fast regeneration that he has. And he thought his love wouldn't love him unless he was good looking. And that's the entire premise of the movie, was try to get the villain to fix him because he's the one who did it to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically the premise of the movie. And it's all the gigantic revenge plot from the start of the movie to the end of the movie, is him just trying to get revenge, try to get him to fix this. And
spoiler alert,
he kills the motherfucker. But Deadpool, it only takes 4-5 seconds to be hero. You don't have to wake up to be hero. You don't have to brush your teeth as a hero. Deadpool, why'd you do that? It's like, you were taking too long.
You were droning on forever.
One of the things we didn't talk about is how perfect Ryan Reynolds was as Deadpool.
Well, and the fact that he completely absorbed Deadpool, like that's his favorite thing ever, and he loves that character. He straight up in an interview said that on the last day of filming, he basically looked everybody in the eyes and started to walk off set. And they said, "Oh, Ryan, aren't you going to take the Deadpool suit off?" And he said, and he basically turned and he's like, "I'm fucking walking out that door with this suit on." And nobody stopped him.
Technically, I think he's the one who really got the movie made.
He did, well, because he was pushing for it for so long.
Like, so much. Like, okay, so there was that, and there was also the fact that, okay, there was supposedly, it was in works after Wolverine Origins because they were going to fix Deadpool. They were going to fix it. And then Green Lantern came along.
Right. Which they take the piss out of in the movie.
Oh, so, like, a couple times. Oh, I didn't even realize we were starting a match. Maybe I wanted to choose a character, Jay.
You did. You picked Pac-Man.
The original video game hero?
Mm-hmm.
Munchin' Yoshi.
Once again, this is a tangent, but have you watched Brian and Ross play Who's Your Daddy?
Nope.
It's freaking gold, and you should. Because it's like the 90% of the video is Brian, who... The point of the game is to be the baby, and you're trying to kill yourself. And as the dad, you're trying to keep your kid from dying. But Brian was the baby for most of the video. And it's just Ross sounding incredibly uncomfortable, and Brian being like, "I don't know. Why don't you tell me, Daddy?" You know? But it's in Ninja Brian's awesome, like, monotone voice. And it's just, I don't know. It's wonderful. And something made me think of that. but I'm sure it was tangentially, I'm sure it was barely related to this.
Well, I actually think we could probably drift off and just talk about random stuff at this point, because,
We kind of said what we wanted.
yeah, I mean, Deadpool, great movie. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. If you've listened to our spoiler section without watching it,
What's wrong with you?
Well, obviously you wanted to hear our awesome opinions and wanted to know if you wanted to. Well, maybe I need to know about the plot points and make sure I like.
And my incredibly handsome voice.
And our dulcet tones.
Our dulcimer tones. That's right. We're stringed instruments that struck with hammers. That's actually that's our secret, Captain. We're always dulcimers. I'm actually doing okay with Samus.
Because I feel like everybody's focusing me.
Steve, don't you like being the center of attention?
Not whenever it comes to dying.
Ah, there I go. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's... Okay, so... my girlfriend... I took my girlfriend and my roommate to see Deadpool. And whenever the trailer came on for Batman vs. Superman, she's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Yeah, I know it's going to be amazing." And that's like the next movie I hope is really good. Obviously, that's going to be far more story driven than Deadpool. Because
I'm maintaining cautious optimism for Suicide Squad. I want it to be said.
Oh, me too.
I'm still not entirely sold, but I mean, I'm sure it'll be at the very least fun. And Captain Boomerang has so far stolen the trailers for me.
I don't know. It's all about Harley Quinn for me.
Did you? I just love it. I don't know. My cousin was telling me about it, and he's like, "Dude, you're gonna love it." I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "Cause of Captain Cold or Captain Boomerang." I'm like, "Really?" And I watched it, and it's got everyone else is in this big fight scene, and Captain Boomerang is sneaking off behind a car, cracking open a beer and drinking it. And I was like, "Yeah, okay, that's pretty good."
Thanks for eliminating me, Jay.
No problem.
Anyways,
now you can focus on talking.
Yeah, now I can anchor. Batman vs. Superman, I think, is going to be a pretty good film. Jeremy Irons, who plays Alfred in this movie, though the trailer makes it seem like he was flying the Batwing in some capacity, because he says, "I'm going to drop you off on the second floor," or whatever. He could have been controlling it from the Batcave, though.
That's what I'm thinking.
Jeremy Irons says Ben Affleck's a really good Batman.
Well, honestly, all you have to do is see the suit to know. Like, I wasn't... I was willing to give Ben Affleck a chance, but I wasn't super sold on it until I saw him in it. And, man, the most important thing is that he has the Batman chin.
Well,
Like,
okay, physical characteristics aside, there has to be some acting that goes along with it.
I mean,
and,
he is a good actor.
Well, okay, but Ben Affleck's an amazing actor. I really love Ben Affleck in almost anything I've ever seen him play in. Now, I didn't know Ben Affleck. I didn't think Ben Affleck was going to be good until I saw that trailer. Not this past trailer, but the one before it, the one where he's talking to.
Do you believe? Oh, whatever.
And it's just like he's like. Superman is interviewing him, like Clark Kent is interviewing him, and like there's Lex Luthor and everything like that, and it's just like, how do you feel about the vigilante that's taking care of Batman? He goes, well, that's kind of hypocritical to say that whenever you got a guy in a skin tight suit saving all your that comes running every time a kid needs saving, such. And I was like, he is truly the old grizzled Batman. Like he is. He is exactly what he needs to be. He needs to be that older Batman that has seen some shit in his day, you know, and it's definitely I'm confident that he's going to be a good Batman, and I'm actually looking forward to the solo Batmans he's supposedly to be.
Well, because whenever you watch the newest trailer, another thing that I absolutely loved about it was that the combat it looked like one of the Arkham games. Like it was extremely flowing and fast.
I'm going to do this. We're going to do some randoms, and we're just going to sit back and talk and put on some random gameplay.
I'm sure we're close to an hour by now.
Let's check that timer. We are at 50 minutes. We got 10 more minutes. That should be 2 good matches of Smash. Okay, this seems like a good match.
I am pulling for Toon Link.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Charizard on this one.
I don't like Charizard in this game. I don't know, he feels weird.
Yeah, well, fire type.
Yeah. You know those fire types.
If they had to add another fire type, they would have to add Blaziken.
Well, I'm excited. Man, Pokken Tournament. They put in Chandelure, and that's my favorite fire type.
It's so weird, though.
I know, but I love it, and I'm so happy.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, we could technically call this our comic book movie special episode, where we mostly talk about Deadpool, but we could really talk about
any other. How about this? Favorite comic book movie? Go. Personal favorite.
Don't.
No, I'm doing it. Putting you on the spot. You got to pick one.
Can I give you a top 5?
You can give me a top 1.
That's cruel.
How about?
Okay. There's a fight in my head because I really loved Deadpool.
How about excluding Deadpool?
Excluding Deadpool. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Okay, unconventional, but I like it.
I had to go like the one that's in my top 5 movies of all time.
Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that answer. That's a good answer.
I'm pretty sure Brian Lee O'Malley's out there hey, somebody.
He's like, Steven likes my movie.
Man, that was such an that to me though. Not only is that probably my favorite comic book movie, that is probably my most favorite second favorite underrated movie. That I really like.
It is excellent. I loved it so much, man. I went out and I bought all the books before the movie came out. I went and saw the movie, I think I ended up going 4 times before it ended its theater run. I got the Blu-ray day one. I lived Scott Pilgrim there for a while.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, we need to play that on here.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I love Brian Lee O'Malley's other books, too, I most recently read Seconds, and that's a really great read. It's tons of fun and very, very poignant, but I feel like all of his stuff is.
Yeah. Okay. So my other underrated movie, because I need to speak about this, because I think they're underrated for the same reason. One of them is they weren't watched enough, and 2, there were so many in-jokes and you had to pay attention to the details to understand a lot of the subtle nuances of the movie. My other one is Speed Racer. I love that movie.
That movie is a ton of fun. I don't like it as much as you, but I do enjoy it a lot.
Well, it's also because Speed Racer was a huge part of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, it was my first anime I had ever watched.
Plus, it has the greatest line of all time. These are what passes for ninjas nowadays? More like nanjas.
One of my favorite John Goodman roles.
As Pop.
Yeah. As Pop. He was the perfect. I love the casting for that movie. The casting was perfect for that movie. Except for Snake Oiler. I didn't like the guy who played Snake Oiler because Snake Oiler did not have a weak mustache in the cartoon because he didn't have a mustache. But yeah, I like them both because of the same reason. It's because they're underrated. Well, they're underrated for the same reason. It's because there's a lot of subtle nuances in the design of both those movies.
Wasn't that a Wachowski Brothers movie?
The Speed Racer was.
Yeah.
So the guys behind The Matrix made Speed Racer movie, and a lot of people were just like, "What?"
But it makes perfect sense because what is The Matrix if not live action anime?
Right. And a lot of well, of course that's been said by millions of people because of like they made the Animatrix and
Yep.
obviously. So
I think if I had to pick one favorite comic book movie, that's a hard question. Man, whoever asked that must have been a jerk.
you are a jerk.
Let's see.
I'm gonna make your stipulation a little bit harder.
Okay, what's that?
Aside from Deadpool,
Okay,
not Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
right. I thought that kind of went without saying since you picked that.
Yeah.
Comic book movie. Okay. I'm going to say Justice League New Frontier.
Interesting.
Now, if we're talking theatrical releases, probably Batman Returns. That's my favorite out of the original four, but I also have a very soft spot for the more flamboyant, cheesy ones, the campy ones. Just because they are a ton of fun, and like I love the set design, and it's super cheesy, but like as a send up to, 60s Batman, they're all a ton of fun.
Okay, so I didn't realize like actual like animated features would come up on this. So if I had to choose something like that, I may have actually had to choose Batman Under the Red Hood.
That is an excellent one.
Because there's so much to love about that movie. But if
Flashpoint was really good too.
not yet, well, I haven't seen that one. It's on my list. I love. I hate to say it, but over the years, I've slowly but surely become a DC fan, and I've been Marvel all my life. Aside from Batman, because I love Batman the animated series.
Right.
Because like cartoons were really where my first exposure to comics were. Like, okay, I watched Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman. Obviously, those were like probably the best versions of the cartoons that they ever had. Was the Batman the animated series, Spider-Man,
Superman Adventures.
Superman, the new Superman Adventures. Yeah, but then they had to change the style for Batman to match the Superman Adventures.
And it was weird.
They changed Batman's costume and Robin's design.
And then the one that bugged me the most was the Joker in that.
Like where he went from Mark
he had
Hamill still was.
Yeah, but he had no lips and.
Yeah, and he had like the single pupil eyes or whatever.
Yep.
Whereas like Batman the animated series had like my favorite design of Joker. My favorite rendition of Joker ever. And
honestly, a large portion of that had to do with the fact that their DC Kids WB was drastically cutting their budget.
Well, I don't think Kids WB was producing it though.
I do, or whoever was producing it,
because
they were getting their budgets cut though.
Hold on. Batman the animated series was on Fox, okay, and then
right.
And then the new Superman Adventures came out on the Kids WB, and then all the DC shows started coming out on Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers bought the DC properties, like Static Shock,
right?
Which I love that series so much.
My nephew loved that one. I never really got into it.
Well, like I watched it quite a bit, and I really like Static Shock. And okay, so Young Justice,
Young Justice is excellent.
Young Justice is excellent, and Netflix is monitoring the watching of Young Justice to see if they can fund a third season,
which it desperately needs.
Oh, it does. It left off on a hook. Did you watch the entire second season?
I missed it, but I've heard that it still has a satisfying end, but like they leave it open.
It leaves it open, like all of a sudden it goes from
like Teen Titans where it left off on a literal cliffhanger.
Yeah. I'm not saying Young Justice as a worthy successor to Teen Titans, but it fills its own niche. But
Oh, I would say it's one of my favorite animated DC series.
yeah, well, I do have to say one thing. If there's one thing DC does well, is in the realm of the animated. Like I love their animated like their animated movies are really good. They've always been really good.
All the way back to Mask of the Phantasm.
Yes. And but the exception like is where they do excellent out of the animated is Batman. I mean, I love the Batman films. I've not seen The Dark Knight Rises because I've just not
haven't.
No, I still haven't. But
here's the deal. To me, the Batman movies Christopher Nolan directed are fantastic, and they're great movies. They're not really Batman movies. Like,
they're Batman villain movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, he doesn't really do anything Batman-y. He doesn't... Batman Begins out of all the three is my favorite, by far. Because he actually is a detective.
Well...
And he actually, and that's before he adopts the ridiculous voice and...
Yeah, I mean, Batman Begins was really good. But when it comes down to it...
I'm also a huge fanboy for Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, I mean, I love Ra's al Ghul, and, I want to see him in a Batman film, another Batman film where it's, it's Ra's al Ghul the entire film. He introduces himself as Ra's al Ghul and not have to play the whole deception game, even though that's kind of what he does. Mm-hmm. But, in the Batman animated film, the animated films that have come out, Son of Batman, Batman vs. Robin, Bad Blood, and even in the new Justice League versus Teen Titans, it's canonized of Damian Wayne, which is Batman's son, by blood, and Ra's al Ghul's grandson.
Right.
Because Talia al Ghul.
What's canonized?
Damian Wayne, because it used to be an alternate universe, but now all the DC films have the DC animated films have all canonized Damian Wayne as a character, because he's in
he's been in the comics as a canon character.
Well, I know that, but that's I think he was of the New 52 as well. Mm-hmm. Like in the reboot, New 52, he was in there, but right now in the DC animated films. He is Batman's son. I mean, before Damian Wayne, Batman had no children whatsoever. The only canonized offspring, kind of Batman was Terry McGinnis in Batman Beyond. But they didn't canonize that until Justice League Unlimited, when they finally finished the story for Batman Beyond.
Yep.
It was the season 2 finale for Justice League Unlimited.
Right.
But okay, favorite Nolan film though, because it almost made my top number 1 comic book movie film, was The Dark Knight, because because I haven't seen The Dark Knight Rises, but to me, The Dark Knight had that satisfying ending to it to me. Mm-hmm. And I know The Dark Knight Rises takes place some years after the events of the Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. So that's yeah. Let's see, other comic book, I could talk about comic book movies. One of the things though is I think one of the main problems that the comic book movies is going to have is that I feel like there's going to be an oversaturation, because the majority of movies that are coming out now that are blockbusters, that are high budget, are comic book based movies. Mm-hmm. And I almost think I almost afraid that people are just going to get tired of it. You know, like it's just another.
That's a valid fear.
I really don't want to see the end of the comic book movies, but I'm afraid it's going to happen because there's everybody's going to be like, oh, it's another Batman film, or it's another Marvel superhero film, or like one of the things though is that is the TV series coming out because we're going to be receiving a new preview for. Daredevil, because apparently they want to release the actual trailer in 2 parts. So, like,
really,
yeah, we got a trailer for it this past week.
I still haven't watched that,
and it said Part 2 coming in March. Part 2 of this trailer coming in March, and I'm just like, why do we need a trailer for a trailer? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it makes no sense. You know,
no, I get you.
But like, I feel like, and that's where I'm enjoying most of my comic book stuff is like all the TV stuff. I've not seen Agents of Shield.
And Brent loves that show.
And I've not caught up on Arrow and the Flash, which are like my 2 favorite series. But like whenever I say that,
I
though,
me some Flash.
Like I really want to call it ongoing series because it's kind of hard to put like Daredevil and Jessica Jones and those onto ongoing series because they're excellent series, and that's just they're excellent series, but you really can't consider them ongoing because you don't know if they're going to continue. They're always renewed after the fact.
You know, they release all at once.
They release all at once, and then they see how they're going to get a second season. Like Daredevil wasn't supposed to get a second season,
but it was popular enough.
Yeah, they're pushing back Luke Cage and Iron Fist for Daredevil season 2
because I do love Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
But Luke Cage was pretty good in Jessica Jones.
I still need to watch that. I meant more like the actual Heroes for Hire team.
Yeah, but like. They're pushing back Iron Fist and Jessica Jones and the Defenders, I think is the last series.
Yep.
Where it's where they all come together as a team. They're pushing those back because they're pushing Luke Cage and Iron Fist and the Defenders back because they're making second seasons of both Daredevil and Jessica Jones. What is this?
It's the shop. You can buy trophies.
I didn't know that was a thing. Wow.
Look, it's our bud.
Funky.
Oh, Wonder Red.
Yeah.
I want that game.
Anyways.
So, I think that's... Oh, it's Sylveon.
Yep.
I need a freaking Pokédoll of her. I have Espeon, an Umbreon, and an Eevee. I want to get all of them. I also have a Gengar.
Yeah.
Gengar is one of my favos.
I guess we'll call this our comic book media special.
Extravaganza.
I mean, this is... I mean, we could talk comic book media all day long and just run like a 7-hour podcast if we really wanted to, but I
don't think anyone would watch that.
I don't think anybody would listen for that long because I don't think I'm that interesting.
Hey, Steve, don't sell yourself short.
Oh, man. Look at that Tiny Kong. Tiny Kong.
Oh, yeah, it's the DS remake where they were like, we need to make this one hot.
Yeah.
So let's throw a tube top on her. Yeah.
Because we already talked about that in the Donkey Kong Country Returns Let's Play.
That's true. We did, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Anyways, guys, I think this has been a successful podcast, and if you like this podcast, give this a thumbs up because it's.
Be sure and subscribe to our Patreon, where we offer rewards every month including but not limited to our first level of backer we have is $10,000, and we will record a voicemail for you. So be sure and look out for that.
Oh, you're so full of it. Anyways,
This is Midna signing off.
yo, Registil, your bro.
I'm a Reg Ice guy.
Regis.
Reg Ice. Yep. Reggie Fils-Aimé.
The secret fifth Reg Pokemon.
Yep. Registeel, Reg Ice,
Regirock.
Regirock, Regigigas, and...
Regifizumi.
Oh, there's your bro. Blaziken.
Blaziken. My favorite starter Pokemon.
There's Wonder Red and Wonder Black. Hey, I actually have that trophy. Remember I have that Bob-omb?
Yeah.
He looks just like that. Oh, there's Black, Dark Mewtwo, Keldeo, Black, Ryu.
Black. Omnislash.
There's the... What is that? The Windfish? Lomac. Pipes. Starfy. That's one game that I'm kind of surprised never took off over here. Well, there's my boy Ken. He's kicking Cloud in the back of the head. I really like his redesign. Anyway.
Nah, you're stretching out on the King of Red Lions.
Oh, he's doesn't want to pull a hammy, right?
Yeah. Anyways, guys, this has been a good podcast. Thank you for listening all the way through. If you have made it to this point, we do appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Drop us a like downstairs if...
They can't see you pointing, Steve.
I'm pointing at my dick. Towards...
He is, I mean...
Towards, in the general direction of my genitalia.
I'm pointing with my foot.
Anyways, leave a comment down below. Tell us what you thought. Tell us what your favorite comic book movie is, or comic book media. And if you've seen the Deadpool movie, give us a non-spoiler description, because you can't give a spoiler warning for comments easily, because people just like, oh, spoiler, oh, I seen it anyway.
Yeah.
So give us a like, give us a subscribe, and if you like this, come back and see us in the next podcast when we put it up.
And make sure and say hello to Snivy.
Yeah, say hello to Snivy. Snivy Whiplash.
Snivy. All right. Peace out.